Thank you, Colonel Smith. I would now like to call on a member of the Legislative Assembly, Mr. Bainto, to bring greetings from the province.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the young cadets here today. First, I want to thank the organizers and participants on this very special event. It is my distinct privilege and honor to bring greetings from the government of Alberta and our legislature to each and every one of you here today. This is a very special year. It's our Alberta centennial year and also our year of the veterans. And this event is special. We want to express our deep gratitude to those who have contributed to the building of this province, to its greatness of today, and to protect our way of life in freedom and democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, personally, I have done some brief research on my own about the Battle of Great Britain. On September the 15th of 1940, the largest concentration of Nazi aircraft ever gathered came across the English coast from all directions. And one pilot searching the invaders called out upon sighting it. It's a whole bloody Luftwaffe. So the raid continued throughout the day, and the German Luftwaffe flying over 1,000 sorties against London. And in all, nearly 40 Royal Air Force fighter squadron, that's 480 aircraft that were in the air in the fierce battle of that day. The Royal Air Force pilots have proven themselves master of the air. And dedicated, courageous, and sometimes tired and exhausted, they turned the tide in favor of the Allied forces. It's amazing that it's about 3,000 or so who comprise of the Royal Air Force, air crew of the battle, were only equivalent of an army brigade or a big battleship in terms of manpower. But the fact that they have achieved the survival of Britain in itself is worthy of the note, as many of them are very young. Many were under 20 and still under training. And in the words of Sir Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister at that time, never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. I searched on the internet and I found a poem which I would like to share with you today. The poem is Remember Him. He was no Galahad, no knight, sans peur et sans reproche. Sans peur, fear was a second enemy to beat. He was a common, unconsidered man who, for a moment of eternity, held the whole future of mankind in his two sweating palms, and he did not let it go. Remember him, not as he was portrayed, but as he was. To him, you owe the most of what you have and love today. And yes, more than 1 in 6 of the 3,000 airmen who flew in the Battle of Britain were from outside of Britain, from the countries like Canada. So September the 15th is now celebrated each year as a Battle of Great Britain. We must teach our younger generation of today of these few heroic individuals fought for the freedom we enjoy today. Thank you for the opportunity to learn and to the honor to take part on this occasion with you.
Thank you, Mr. Cow. I'd like to now call on the Mayor of the City of Calgary, Mayor David Bronkage. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Veterans, cadets, ladies and gentlemen, members of Parliament, members of the Legislature, my council colleague Alderman Chabot, and friends. 2005 is the year of the veteran, and it marks the 60th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. It's only fitting that today's rededication of the Air Memorial ensures that not one individual is forgotten. As home to 5 critical components of the British Commonwealth Air Training Program, Calgary helped develop legions of young, brash recruits into trained and committed air servicemen. This impressive bronze honors the vital role that our city and those air servicemen played in the defense of global freedom during the Second World War. The brave men who took to the skies of Europe, North Africa, and the Far East. With courage and determination, they helped return our world to a time of peace. Today around the globe, many are commemorating the Battle of Britain. It is of historical significance during the 6-year war. It's important that we remember and honor the more than 1,600 young Albertans who left their city, their towns, and their homes, their families and friends, to join a fight, but sadly did not return. Each one of them voluntarily offered the ultimate sacrifice, and this very impressive monument will remind them, their families, and certainly remind each of us, that peace was earned with the ultimate sacrifice, the most terrible price that anyone can pay. We owe these men and veterans who live among us today the commitment to protect the peace. To Arthur Smith and Chairman John Melbourne, to the voluntary board of directors, we want to thank you for ensuring that we shall remember them.
I would now like to call on Mr. Art Hanger and Mr. Lee Richardson, I should know better, to bring greetings from the Government of Canada.
Thank you, John. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, Mayor Brown-Kanye, members of the Legislative Assembly, and my colleague, Lee Richardson. Certainly is an emotional, I find at least, an emotional event. I listened to Mr. Art Smith and those that have lived out what we now are recognizing here, the war, the battles that resulted in the loss of so many lives. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I would like to join all of those to give honor to our fallen airmen who had participated and who were trained in the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. I can look on a personal basis too. I had 2 uncles flying bomber raids into Germany, numerous bomber raids into Germany. One was wounded and managed to bring their limping plane back to base. But they watched hundreds of their comrades fall from the sky, powerless to help. And like so many others during that time, they continued doing their duty in spite of the risk, all for freedom and for the future, for our future. I would like to thank those organizers, in particular John Melbourne, Art Smith, and others who had the vision and the dedication to recognize these men and these events and to erect this memorial statue in honor of those men that died and who lost their lives for our freedoms. We shall remember them. Thank you.